So we created our site legend. Now we want to create a zoning table. And so for a zoning table, I would just do it as another legend. So we can right click down the legends here. We can go to new legend and we can keep that size the same. We'll call this zoning legend. And if you remember from the last video, I was using reference planes to create these margins. And what I said was we want to create multiples of 4 meters. I am using metric. If you're using imperial, you could find a number that works. And so I just dragged that onto the sheet and found a number that seemed like it looked good. You might need to adjust that. You could use 5, doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go to RP and I'm just going to draw a vertical line here. And I'm just going to copy this vertical line over a 1/2 meter. 1/2 meter there. Okay, 1/2 meter. And then let's copy this over to 4 meters. And then I'm going to copy it over another 4 meters. And then one more by a 1/2, 0.5 of a meter. And I left that center one in there just for reference for the future. I don't really need it there, but I'm just showing to myself that I did a double row kind of thing. And technically, actually what I should have done is this should actually be a little bit more because we do have that margin in the middle. So maybe I'll just leave that margin and I'll just move this over. And how you set up those rules is completely up to you. I'm just going to leave that margin there because we might have other margins on other tables. And so if we want to overlap them, we kind of need to have that margin there. Don't know if that makes any sense at all, but that's the idea. So for a table, we want to do another RP for our top. So our top is, again, that 1/2 meter space here. And then we're just going to go up 100 millimeters just to do our title. And so let's draw our line. But this time our line is going to go all the way across to this other side because we basically have a double column legend. And we'll call this just, I think I did medium line, can't remember. And then we'll add our text in here. So this will be our zoning legend. And let's change that to caps. Zoning legend. Drag this up a little bit. And yeah, I think I had this starting just a little bit in like that. And again, we'll change this text size to be 3.5. And we'll double click in here and make that text bold. So we just have a little bit more of a prominent title. We'll just use our mouse our keyboard to just bring those lines up. And then now we want to start doing our table. This is completely up to you. You can add table lines. I kind of like it without table lines. So what I will do is I will do the first part of my zoning legend will be property information. So I'll do city. Well, actually, let's do zoning bylaw. Zoning bylaw city, or maybe let's do address. Address city zone. So everyone knows what our zone is. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just putting some general information about the property, not necessarily about the rules. So there certainly could be more, but I'll just leave it like that for now. The next one we have down is where we start to put in our information. Quick question. No, zone is not the parcel. Parcel is something different. The zone is in the outline we gave you. Correct, EM2. So here what I'll do is I'll start to write the rules down. So I'm going to write description. And then I'm going to tab over probably 3 tabs. I'm going to write required / permitted. And I'm going to go over 1 tab and I'm going to write existing / proposed. And I'm going to hit enter. And so this looks a little weird, but essentially I'm going to use the tabs as a way to filter my table. And so you could add lines, but I just like to do it this way because then you avoid all this unnecessary formatting. And there are ways to bring tables and stuff into Revit, but I just like this. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just actually going to pull this text in and pull that text in so it kind of all lines up. So we have our description here. So our first one is our lot area. Next one would be our coverage. You could do lot width, lot depth. You could do what other? We have setbacks, so front yard. And setbacks, actually, what I sometimes do is I do setback, and then I'll do an indent, and I'll just remove this right here. So I'll do rear yard, interior yard, and then exterior yard. So I know in the outline we say east-west, so you could just put the minimum. So if you have 2 interior lot lines, you just put the smaller or the more restrictive number, I guess you could say. You could denote as east-west. I'm not going to. And then we would have, what else? So we have that information, setbacks, landscape strip. We could have height, building height. And then what I would do for parking is I'm going to hit 2 enters and I'm going to write parking. And I'm just going to go here, make that bold. And we would write, I'm going to change the way this is worded a little bit. I'm going to write total required parking. Then I'll write standard parking spots, barrier free. And so this is kind of how I set up my zoning. And so now how this works is our lot area, I'm just going to tab over till I get aligned with that area. And then I'm just going to write, I don't know, what, 200 square meters. And in brackets, you could do 2,000 square feet. Obviously, that number is different. And then you just want to keep the formatting the same. So if you have a space, you keep the space. And then over here, lot area, you could then, you could just write, for lot area, I'd probably just write not applicable over here. Because your lot area is your lot area. It doesn't, it's not going to change, right? Let's go down to coverage. So coverage, maybe you have a percentage, maybe you have not applicable, hint, hint. And then your actual percentage you want to calculate. So this would be, let's just say 60%. And we could also add building area in here. So building area. So building area would be, and maybe actually a way of doing this would be, we could do, we could tab this in, and we could tab, and we could do percent, and then building area. So, and you could essentially take your percentage and put it into a physical number versus it being an abstract percentage, because percentages don't really do much. This is not applicable. And then this percentage might be 120 square meters. And then 1,200 square feet. Right? So I'm not going to fill out the whole table, but that's how you want to start setting this up if you wanted to do it this way. Again, you don't have to necessarily follow how I do it, but I just like it this way. Landscape strip, you could actually break into its own category. So we could just do this, and we could do landscape requirements. And we could bold this text as well. And then we'll go down to, so we'll do landscape strip. And then you could do landscape percentage. So yeah, so that's kind of how to set that up. Once you're done, the last thing we want to do is just drag this zoning legend onto your sheet here. And so we can turn off our title. And if you remember, we want to overlap our margins. So now you have a nice overlapped margin there. The margins kind of are the same, and it just kind of looks neat and tidy that way. So should I pause or does anyone have questions with this? Okay, I'll pause that.